So everybody thinks about a credit score, but the main thing you need to check is your credit report. So just to remind people, there isn't a universal credit score. So when you go and borrow money, what happens is the agency or the company that you go to borrow money from will carry out a credit scoring on you. And so each lender will do that in a different way. So if you're going for a mortgage, they will do their own credit scoring. And what they do is check your credit report. And that typically will be with one of the three main credit reporting agencies. And they are Experian, Equifax and TransUnion. Now, each of those agencies do actually provide an individual score that you can check online. The thing is, they're all slightly different. So, for example, Experian will give you a score from between 0 and 999. Equifax, it ranges from 0 to 1,000. And TransUnion, it ranges from 0 to 710. So it makes drawing comparisons between all of these different agencies slightly difficult. But the higher your score, therefore more likely you are to be lent money by a lender. But as I've already mentioned, it does depend on the lender's own criteria whether they will lend money to you. But the scores of each of these agencies do give you a good indication about your overall credit worthiness. But what you need to do is actually check your full credit report with each of these agencies. Now, why do you need to do it with each agency? Can't you just check one of them? The reason you need to check it with each of them is because they can hold slightly different information, and each lender might check with a particular agency. And so you need to ensure that the information that is on the report for each agency is correct, because there can be mistakes and that can then hinder your ability to borrow money in the future. Now, each of the three credit reporting agencies do have an obligation to provide a free version of your credit report, but that tends to be a slimmed down version of your credit report. If you want your full report, which is what you need to be checking, then you usually would have to pay to access that. But I'm going to explain how you can get those full credit reports of each agency for free. Now, when you look at your report, you'll find all sorts of information on there, past addresses, the various different credit facilities that you have, maybe a mortgage, different credit cards. You need to make sure all of those details are correct, but also that nobody has taken out credit in your name. If there are mistakes, you need to contact the agencies straight away and ask that any mistakes be rectified, because if you don't, then that can impact your ability to borrow money in the future. And that's why you need to make sure you check these things once a year ahead of any potential money borrowing that you are going to be doing, maybe later in the year when you remortgage, for example. Now, let's focus on Experian first of all. You can actually check your Experian credit score for free online, and they also have an Experian Boost service which you can also use for free, which is quite interesting. It can potentially improve your Experian credit score by taking into account payments for subscriptions like Amazon Prime and Netflix, as well as your council tax. We have a full review of that service, which we can link to in the show notes. Now, if you want to check your full credit report, then Experian does have their credit expert service, which is $14.99 a month, and you can get daily updates to your score, and you can also have a monitoring service that's applied to your credit report with them. There is a 30-day free trial, so you could therefore check your credit report with Experian and cancel within that 30-day period and not be charged. Now, in the notes, I will put a link to a full article explaining how you can check your credit report for free. But in there, we actually list all of these various different agencies and what each score means, so you'll know whether you've got a good rating or poor rating with each agency. I'm not going to run through that on this particular part of the show. Now, moving on to Equifax, you can check your Equifax credit report via their website. There is a service that costs $14.95 a month. It does have web monitoring and identity theft protection all built in. And again, there's a 30-day free trial, so you could, in theory, at least check your report and cancel within that. Now, there is a free way to check your Equifax credit report, and that is by using ClearScore. They allow you to have free unlimited access to your Equifax credit report, and you can also check your Equifax score. And the way that they make money is by recommending financial products, but there's no obligation to buy anything at all. Now, moving on to TransUnion. Now, interestingly, they are slightly different to Equifax and Experian because there isn't a direct paid-for service from TransUnion. Instead, you can use services like Credit Karma, which I personally use and is very good. They have a great app, and you can check your TransUnion credit report for free. They will also send you alerts to anything that changes or when your TransUnion credit score goes up or down. There are other ways you can use something like Totally Money that is pretty similar to Credit Karma when it comes to checking your TransUnion credit score and credit report. Now, interestingly, you are able to access your TransUnion credit score and report via a number of banks as well. So they've signed up to launch these services through the likes of Halifax, Lloyds and NatWest. And you can also access your TransUnion report via Monzo. And if you pay at least £3 a month, so you're taking out one of the paid for plans with Monzo, you get access to your scores on all three agencies. Now, finally, there is one way to look at your credit reports for all three rating agencies for free in one place. Now, the all-in-one option is actually via Check My File. Now, they provide the three reports in one place. There is a £14.99 a month fee, but that's after a 30-day free trial. So theoretically, you could take out that 30-day free trial, cancel within it, but have already checked your credit report. So that is a roundup of how to check your credit report for free and the best ways to do so with all of the three main rating agencies out there. We'll also put a link to the article on the Money to the Masses website because it also includes some nice tables which shows you options available to you and some comparisons of the cost, but also some tips on how to improve your credit scoring.